More than a quarter of the population is classed as inactive, and the percentage is rising. Bucking the trend are these over 60s at Clissold Leisure Centre.
I've got a couple of illnesses, so this has made a real difference. It's actually got me active because I can't go to the gym. I've got osteoporosis and arthritis, so this is amazing.
Since I retired, I've become more active because I realise as you get older, it's even more important to stay fit and keep fit.
Well, I'm 68 now and I can still jump around.
Hackney's active adults have got the message, but nationwide, it's a different picture.
It's never quite got to the top of anyone's priority list, and the pandemic has made that more complicated. But actually, in some ways, I think the pandemic has brought it into stark reality why we have to do something.
The report recommends shifting responsibility for sport policy from the Department for Culture, Media and Sport to the Department of Health and Social Care, tax breaks for sports and recreation providers, and making PE a core curriculum subject. These inner city Year 7s say they'd welcome more sport in school.
I love PE and physical education, and I'm quite good at it, but sad thing is I got asthma, so this teaches me and helps me build up my asthma and my heart. I should do more because I want to do like an athletic when I'm older.
What I like about sport is that it can help you mentally and physically, and it can help you get fit.
And it means a lot to their head, who was a PE teacher for years before he went into senior leadership.
What needs to happen is that people start taking this seriously instead of just another soundbite and talking a good talk. I think we need to try and emulate what actually happens in a lot of the private schools who take sport extremely seriously, have an abundance of money available, huge levels of facilities. In inner city schools in disadvantaged areas, we haven't got any of that.
The government responded to the House of Lords report by saying it's invested £1 billion in sport during the pandemic and is working to increase activity levels through a new sports strategy and school activity action plan. Nick Wallace, 5 News.
Well, for more on this, we're joined by one of the UK's most recognisable faces when it comes to fitness, Derek Evans, otherwise known as Mr Motivator, of course. Derek, thank you so much for joining us. Do you agree that people, especially from poorer backgrounds, are being let down?
Look, I agree to many things, but the one thing I know for sure, and I think back to my days at school, I can't think of anyone within my school, no matter how much money was ploughed into sport, who went on to become a champion. And the thing is, if you think about it yourself, I'm sure that you can't identify anyone immediately from your school. And that is because the focus when it comes to sport is all about winning. It's not so much about participation. And participation is what we're looking for, especially if we want to improve the health of our nation. And how do you do that? You've got to change the messenger, because everyone knows the message, but the messengers don't lead by example. And we know that in so many ways. So you can't have people on top telling you what you should be doing. And when you look at them, they don't replicate or reflect exactly the message that they're delivering.
What do you mean by that exactly? Who are you calling on to take action?
Well, I'm calling on, I think an example is really important. I think if someone is actually standing up in front of you, telling you that you need to be more active, they need to look the part. So what we need more than anything else is a way of delivering the message so that people don't realize that they're actually getting it. So, for example, when our forefathers or our mothers wanted us to eat vegetables, they didn't go, here is your broccoli, eat your broccoli. What they did was they dressed it up in a pie. And I believe that is what we've got to do, because the messages of old telling people, get active, do aerobics, get your heart rate in a training zone, do something every single day has not worked. We've got to recognize the woodpecker. It keeps pecking away till it eventually breaks through. But I'm sorry, when ministers recommend that you get active and you don't see them doing any post about them being active, that is not exactly the example that you want to have.
And Derek, so many people sort of hated PE at school, didn't they? They just had these terrible memories and they've never really got over that.
I hated PE. I mean, listen, I used to wear those short shorts running across in a cold field. I just did not like it. But I believe that what we can do is to engage people in many ways. And to be honest, for a start, I think people like Channel 5 ought to stand up and actually do something as well. Because why don't you have an exercise slot that goes out every day, that provides activity in a fun way so that people can enjoy it? You don't do it. But what you will do is you have me talking about what the government should or should not be doing. I think we've got to take responsibility for what we need. Because remember this, one of the greatest gifts that you can give yourself as you get older, your friends, your colleagues, is an independent, healthier you. And it starts when you're young. So giving them the messages in a real digestible way when they're young will stay with them forever.
That's a great idea. We're going to speak to them upstairs, but always good to see you.
We're doing a little thing called news, do you know what I mean?
Yes.
That kind of stands in the way of doing fitness. But we got you on.
And we saw you during the pandemic doing that as well, Derek, so that was fantastic. Thank you so much.
Well, yeah.
We'll talk to you
Join
soon.
my
Thanks,
club,
Derek.
Mr. Motivator's
We'll
club.
join.
Thank you so much for
We're
your
there.
time.